there, my name is Sarah Hansen. This is my transition to design video. I am working with my client Michelle, and I'm going to walk you through the choices I made as a result of her intake form, her consultation, her movement assessments, and then I'm also going to talk about my long-term plan, my short-term plan, and then the lifestyle and exercise plan that I chose, and then as well some of the different exercises that I chose. So Michelle's intake form provided some key insights into her current fitness and health state. I will tell you now that I have known Michelle for 6 months or so. So I've been working with her throughout the process of my OPEC certification. She seemed like a natural fit for the client because she knows that's what I'm going through. So if I speak a little bit to some outside experience, this was not a new client to me. This is someone I've known for a while. So I wanted to use the assessments as a way to benefit her and to learn. So Michelle does have arthritis in her knee, a history of shoulder surgery, so some limited range of motion in that shoulder. So I considered this obviously when designing her program. She's been in the gym for about a year at this point. She's still new to structured training. She gets in her head a whole lot. Meaning she gets competitive when competition is not the thing that suits her best. She does well when she's in an environment with others if she can stay focused. She sometimes struggles with focus. She struggles to stay consistent at times with goals that she sets for herself. You'll probably hear some of that throughout the course of this conversation. But these are just noticings I've had as a result of our relationship over the last few months. So she reports getting 9 hours of sleep. This is based off her intake form. 9 hours of sleep each night. She reports tracking her nutrition. She reports staying hydrated. Her energy levels sit at a 6 out of a 10. And then based off some of both success and lack of success that we've seen, I have personally been a little bit concerned about how accurate some of her personal tracking is and how aware she really is. So we've really worked towards non-judgmental, consistent language, talking about building small habits and not working towards perfection. Okay, so that's been my strategy with her. So that's what I gleaned from the intake form. During our initial consultation, Michelle talks about wanting to improve her quality of life as she moves into her 60s. She's 56 this year. She has big plans. She wants to take hikes. She wants to be adventurous. She doesn't want to feel old. She doesn't want to lose strength. She wants to be able to move her body still. She's currently prioritizing exercise and says self-care, but she will also admit that she struggles to work too much sometimes. She is a business owner and therefore responsible for everything. And you can see that sometimes in the level of focus she comes into the gym with. So she is looking for ways to be more intentional with her choices though. During her initial consultation, we talked about consistency in daily movement and nutrition, focusing, like I said, on small, repeatable habits, not perfection. She is currently working towards daily movement goals. We'll get into that in a prescription a little bit later, but she for a long time has been fixated on the long walk, the 3-mile walk, the 60-minute walk. And I've encouraged her to implement 10-minute walks to get up and move when her Fitbit tells her to move, to get up and move within the hour if she hasn't moved within the hour. So we're really working on consistency with that. She is, as I mentioned, using a Fitbit to track sleep and movement, some nutrition goals as well. So we've got some early monitoring stuff there that, while it may not be entirely accurate, it is at least a source of data for her to work with. She reports her stress levels are moderate. They fluctuate based on work, which makes sense based off of what she does. And she has, like I mentioned, began tracking her food with Fitbit app. But as I mentioned, consistency, I think, remains a challenge. We'll talk a little bit more of the specifics of her lifestyle recommendations or prescriptions that I gave her and how she's working with those. So she is considering looking into GLP-1s with a doctor. So I've just supported her to continue to establish that relationship with her doctor so that she has a healthcare professional that she feels confident in as I function in her trainer scope and not in her medical advice scope. Okay, moving on to OPEC's body. Her body weight, 251, fat percentage, I believe, was also 51%. If I can review her numbers real quick. Where are we at here? Yeah, I'm in the range there. 255 for body weight, body fat percentage 51.9. What I can admit is that body fat percentage surprised me a little bit. The body weight itself did not. This is the highest I've ever seen, quite frankly, on one of those machines. So what I can tell you is hers was not higher than others that I've seen since, but it was the highest, so it just surprised me. That was one of those things I noticed. So her BMR was reasonably high when I think about how much she actually moves. Quite honestly, it was north of 1,500. So again, being new in this space and analyzing others' BMRs, I was pretty surprised that's what that number was. So during that assessment, though, we also talked about getting into the right headspace around body weight, body fat, and those numbers, and how not to internalize the data. I felt like this was a really productive conversation to have with Michelle, simply because she gets locked in on things that she can't change a little bit. I've noticed that over the course of the last 6 months, and really noticed it during this assessment, that she gives too much thought to things that are not helpful. So we've talked a lot about this, about InBody being another marker of data, that it's not a personal attack, but that it's data and a commentary on what she's doing. So those are all noticings from the body assessment. Her work assessment, she completed a solid 7 calories per minute, so 70 calories on the Echo bike. I was particularly proud of the amount of focus that she showed on this particular effort. 10 minutes, a long time to sit on that bike, especially when you struggle with focus anyways. I was pretty proud of her. She showed a pretty solid capacity for work doing that one, and I think she'll also benefit from additional endurance training once we can get her in the right headspace. So I really genuinely believe that doing a lot of just intentional work with her will be positive, moving her forward towards her goals. So her movement assessment, to be real honest, hers was one of the first ones I've ever done. So I failed her on all movements so that I could see exactly what Coach RX was going to recommend for her movements. This was not done lightly. I watched her do them several times. Her range of motion is not strong. And so I felt confident failing her on those movements simply so that I could learn how to structure her exercises more appropriately based off that range of motion, and then work on those assessment skills. So I took a conservative approach, assuming that she could benefit from the movement foundations, and then we can progress beyond that. So her annual plan, I focused solely on accumulation. Given her young training age and occasional self-doubt about her ability to perform movements, I wanted to emphasize confidence building and independence in the gym. So we've talked a ton about autonomy and about her keeping that focus so that she can get through the work. I wanted to keep the plan simple, which is what I did, so that she can develop that strong base, not get overwhelmed, know how to work with some of the numbers, and not be worrying about whether or not the movement is appropriate or not. The first short-term plan the first phase of this program assesses and improves her range of motion in the front squat. These are our priorities. Assess and improve her range of motion, building strength and muscular endurance, and developing consistency in daily movement. I picked front and or goblet squat, bench press, and deadlift for her strength movements for us to focus on in this 4-week cycle, followed by a second 4-week phase focusing on the same movement patterns. We're going to reassess after 9 weeks. So we had a test week. We are doing 6 weeks. Am I saying this right? Yeah, a test week. We are doing 6 weeks of lifting, and then we're going to do another test week following that. So that will be her first phase. At the 9-week mark, then we're going to reassess her range of motion and strength to move forward. One of her goals is daily movement, which I mentioned earlier. I included MAP 10 to help her build some of the capacity. I don't fully anticipate, she's committed to 3 days of training per week. I don't fully anticipate that she'll be following through on 60 minutes of MAP 10. But like I said, I've encouraged her to develop small habits that are sustainable so that she can get in that 10, 20, 30 minutes and build that capacity. So the structured program includes 3 days of full body resistance training per week, 1-hour sessions each day. So, and she's got a partner actually during that training session as well. So she's working with somebody also. Let's see. I prescribed, I want to get back to that. Lifestyle prescriptions, daily movement, and nutrition. This is what we talked about. I've talked about this already a bit. Let me get back to what our lifestyle prescriptions are. Lifestyle prescriptions, my apologies. Let me get back there. Still learning how to read some of this. So what we have done is for exercise, we included, as I mentioned, front squat, incline bench, and trap bar deadlift specifically. She has greater lower body capabilities. She has expressed, and I have witnessed, her struggling to stick with simple movements because she feels like she's falling behind, right? Like she's comparing herself to others in the gym and she's not progressing appropriately. So I selected movements that she can safely perform. We can do progressive load so that hopefully she'll stay mentally engaged and feel proud of herself while she's building that competency, and just stayed right in there with her. So I programmed 10 rep sets to increase time under tension, promote muscular endurance as well. And for additional supersets, I used high volume full body resistance work with simple movement patterns to help her develop independence in her workouts. So each session throughout the week, so there's 3, right, ends with a wall sit, a plank hold, and farmer's carry. I wanted to expand a little bit her understanding of what core and trunk exercises look like. And because she's working with a partner, I also wanted to give that partner something that they could compete against each other in. So we're doing wall sits, we're doing plank holds, and we're doing farmer's carry for max holds after each workout. So wanted to build that mental and physical connection, and then full body stability as well. Her lifestyle recommendations, I included daily movement and nutrition. She did mention at one point in time during our consultation a previous eating disorder. So I wanted to be mindful of that and careful about how much I talk about tracking. So we've talked a lot about her comfort with tracking and being awareness of portion control and food sizes and things like that. So I have noticed that she struggles a bit with understanding what her intake is versus what she says her intake is. So it will be an uphill climb there, but again, the lifestyle habits that I prescribed her are to just create intentionality. So right now, we're actually working on 30 grams of protein in breakfast every day, whether that be the same thing, whether it be something different, but being confident they're starting the day off with protein. So that is the first lifestyle recommendation that I gave her, and then the second being the daily movement habit and consistency. Consistency has been the theme of the day for Michelle. And it's one where I've seen her grow quite a bit, quite honestly. So over the course of the last 6 months. And so I'm excited to continue to work with her as we continue to work on this design. So her program is designed around building confidence, independence, and consistency. Her movement assessments guided the exercise selection that I made. And her consultation helped me shape a plan that aligns with her long-term vision of strength, health, and adventure. We'll continue to track her progress, adjust that next short-term plan once it comes up, and I look forward to working with her for the next few weeks. Thanks so much.